Welcome to Crappens. Don't wait a week for a new video. Join our Patreon at the Crappens On Demand level for instant recap access. Link in description. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker. Joining me today is Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Great. I'm so good. So excited to be here. You know, live another day. Here we are, another day on the earth. Okay. You know, it's another day. The earth is spinning around the moon. That's it. I'm just glad to be here. That's all. Thank you for asking. I look young. You look old. I look young. You look old. So today, after we record Orange County, we are going to record the Ultimate Girls Trips Legacies that we missed, which are episodes. Well, today we're just doing episode 4 to air that next week. And it's going to be funny going back to that after we haven't dealt with it in months. I mean, it seems like that was on years ago, that New York Legacy show.
So watching it again, it felt like it was so long ago. But yeah, we missed 2 episodes because I think it was airing during the holidays. And, you know, those shows are just like, they're like big bloated extravaganzas, and during the holidays,
hey, that was my nickname in high school.
Big bloated extravaganza. So yeah, we're gonna recap those.
Yearbook headline.
We're gonna fill in the
extravaganza. Ronnie Karam.
I woke up this morning thinking about Brigadoon. Speaking of high school, I was thinking about, for some reason, I was thinking about what I was like, Brigadoon. What is the story of that ridiculous show? And I sat there and I read the Wikipedia entry for Brigadoon. That's how I started today.
Wow. Well, yeah. Thanks for the warning.
So, you know, it makes sense considering that we are going to be sort of teetering into Scottish territory, as this is the Traitors episode of Orange County. Kind of a funky mashup of shows. It was weird. It felt like it was a promotion for the Traitors, but there's no Traitors season to promote. So it was just sort of promotion going out into the void, which maybe was by intention. Maybe the producers of the Traitors were like, you know what, we don't need this kind of promotion, so you can just burn this episode off in the middle of the summer. Thanks.
I think Tamara was just trying to promote that she's wanted somewhere else during her Self a Traitors party, because I think to anybody else it would be super weird doing an episode based around a show that you lasted 5 minutes on. But yeah, I don't know. You know, it's like me if I was like, you guys, we should all get together for my protein diet based party, because it's like something I failed at. You know what I mean? Hey guys, you know what we should get together and do? PE. I would love to do that for my next party. I'm just gonna like showcase all of my failures as my party themes.
Well, along those, we'll get into it. We'll get into all the fun Traitor stuff.
That would be kind of fun though. Hey everybody, welcome to my Bible school party. Failed out. I failed out of it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's classic Tamara. So we open up the episode with this random scene at a bar called Palenque, and Heather, or maybe it's Palenque. I know it's like a Mayan temple, right? But Heather and Emily and Tamara, they're all seated at a bar having a conversation that feels like it was filmed several months later. They're like, oh, the producers were like, oh, we need a scene to create some connective tissue from last episode to this episode. So you guys act like you're all having a fun girls' night at this random bar in Orange County and talk about the trips and segue into this episode.
Man, connective tissue. They've got to worry about that a lot in this town. So Heather's like, oh, our trip was good or whatever, because Tamara's like, how was your trip, Bess? We had the best time. The roof was leaking. There were a lot of pictures of me and Eddie and Harley Davidson core. It was amazing. And Emily's like, yeah, we had fun, but it just like Shannon seemed like a woman on the verge of a nervous breakdown. First of all, Tamara's the one who made her that way. So I don't know why you're telling Tamara that, like you're calling the police. Like you're calling the guy in the scream mask to save you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, have you met Shannon Bedore? That's kind of her thing. Like she's been on the verge of a nervous breakdown for 12 years on Bravo.
That's her personality.
Yeah. I mean, Heather tried to even commit her to an institution in her first season because she didn't even understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just how she is. So that's why she's been employed for a decade. Okay, guys, let's all take a moment. So then we get flashbacks of Shannon being like, thank you for being so kind to me. And she really does look like she's on the verge of a nervous breakdown. But, you know, God, it was fun. It was a fun scene.
Yeah. And then, by the way, you called us and told Shannon you wanted to meet with her. I didn't realize it was imminent. Wow.
What do you mean she's not a pope? No, not your eminence. Tamara, are you still doing that storyline? Nah, I gave it up. It means I didn't know you were going to do the meeting right then. I had to do it. I wanted to get it out of the way. So then we see a flashback to the meeting. Well, first we see the dinner where Tamara is screaming at Shannon that she's a dumb drunk. And then we see where she's inviting Shannon to her party. And she's like, I said, I'm having a party on Wednesday, and I want you to be going to be there because Alexis is not going to be invited. And I feel so stymied because I was sure that Tamara was just being nice to Shannon to get her at this party where Alexis would, you know, rag on her again. And I was wrong. She didn't even have Alexis. I hate admitting that I'm wrong.
Do we think that Alexis and Johnny J timed their engagement perfectly with this episode, knowing Alexis wouldn't be on the show, so that way it kept her relevant in the headlines this week?
They're so disgusting. We didn't even talk about that. So Alexis and Johnny J posted a very aggressive Instagram post. She's doing that thing where she's like holding on to him with one hand and then shoving her hand in our face with the other one to show us that. Oh God, I shouldn't just show. I have Kyle Richards' hands. I shouldn't have showed those to you guys. But shoved the ring in the face of the camera like she's about to backhand me. Get your fucking tacky ass Faco child. I was going to say child bride ring. What do I mean? Blood diamond child labor ring out of my face. Even though I totally believe in children having jobs and always have. But still, gross. You two are disgusting.
Yeah, I feel like the timing feels, I don't know why the timing feels so peculiar. It's like she knew she wasn't going to be, she knew she wasn't going to be on the show. So it's like a don't forget about me kind of energy.
I was listening to the Bravo docket, which breaks down court cases and all that. As you know, I mention them all the time. And they were talking about this, you know, him suing her for all this money. And the fact that she tried to settle and pay him the money out of court, but in return, she wanted him to sign an NDA and he refused to do it. And the NDA wasn't even an NDA, a typical NDA. It was a mutual disparagement contract, which means she wouldn't go on the show and talk shit about him, and he wouldn't be able to use her for publicity and back talk either, and he refused. So I think that pretty much goes to show where that fucker stands. And also, I don't believe any of this is happening because I read in another thread, because really all I do is sit on the internet all fucking day. We all know that. But I read on some other thread on Reddit that someone looked up her what is it called when you get a divorce, her settlement, and they said that she gets a huge settlement as long as she's not with somebody else, which I think is a typical way of a settlement. Now, I don't know how true that is. That's just, I read that from a comment, so please don't sue me. I'm always afraid of the Bellinos suing me for saying anything. Please don't sue me. I don't have any money left. It's all gone. And what was it? Man, I'm so sorry. I'm really ADD today. Anyway, why would she marry him and give up that settlement money if he can't even spring for a facelift? You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're going to marry someone who's too poor to pay for a facelift, then you're going to need to keep that money. So I don't know that I even believe any of this at this point.
Well, he's either too poor to pay for a facelift, or he is just a petty asshole who wants the money back. And either way, it doesn't seem like that would work well with Alexis's lifestyle, to which she has become accustomed to.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I don't know what it is, but get that fucking ring out of my face, and shame on you too.
Yeah. So either way, Tamara, Emily, Heather, they kind of guide us through our previouslys this week. And the question is like the video, because Alexis last episode was like, I have a video that would destroy Shannon, and whether or not they bring up the video to Shannon, and Tamara's like, I don't think we should mention this to her at all. And Heather's like, no way. The only videos we're going to discuss are Air Bud 5, which I had a fleeting role in. I played waitress number 3 in 1997. You're welcome.
So then we go to Speakerworks with Shannon and her CEO, Steve, who is turning into David Foster, right? Has he always looked just like David Foster? How many tenors do you think he has locked in his basement, this fucking guy?
It's a fairly common trajectory for men. There's like a certain path. Certain men turn into Al Gore, like John Jansen. Certain men turn into, David Foster. Others just turn into just like Grimace. I don't know. I can't think of any. I'm trying to think of like other older men. Jimmy Buffett, maybe. But I feel like there's certain categories that like we as men just sort of morph into in our old age, and David Foster is one of them. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, thanks. I think I'm going to have a Bernie Sanders slant,
Oh,
just with more Lebanese coloring. Like, and I'll have more hair coming out of my ears, I think, and my butt crack, and
yeah.
everywhere, really everywhere, every pore. But yeah, I think I'm going to have that like kind of just pissed off old man look. I mean, I'm already on my way.
I feel like I think I might go in a Harry Dean Stanton way. That might be my path forward.
That's a good way. I like Harry. Now, my goal would be Tony Shalhoub, even though he's not really old, but
Mm.
I feel like he's on a good trajectory. He's just got that kind of dopey, like, "Well, just solved a mystery on accident," kind of a look. I would like that, but I'm not. I have, if I was going to be an angry old man, I'd like to be Clint Eastwood. He's so sexy when he's mad,
He's a
but I'm going
Yeah,
to be
he can
Bernie.
yell at he really pulls off yelling at an empty chair really well. Like he really has that certain like angry old man thing down pat. It's like he's been training his whole life for that moment, and now he's finally aged into his fate.
Yeah, because most, I feel like senior citizens who are angry are represented on TV as being like, I don't know, like not hot, but he's grumpy and does push-ups, which I think is
Yeah,
like a really nice take on it. Kind of love
I
you,
saw
Clint Eastwood.
I saw a
I
picture of
think.
Tony Danza yesterday, and New York Times had an article that was like inside the Upper West Side apartment of Tony Danza, and I was like, that's an interesting headline. I will click on it. And I didn't actually read any of it. I just wanted to see what Tony Danza looked like these days. And he's aging pretty well considering. And what was so funny was that like 2 days ago, I decided to look up the Wikipedia entry for Taxi, and I read all about Taxi. And then the next day was an article about Tony Danza. And then this morning I woke up and there was a whole profile about Carol Kane in the New York Times. So like I think what I'm trying to say is I need to do something better with my time.
Tony Danza aged really well. I just looked him up. He looks fantastic.
Yeah, he looks
Yeah,
really good. And Carol
he
Kane
looks
did too, by the
fantastic.
way, for the record. Carol Kane's doing a great job with her aging.
Tony Danza, the hair, he's got long hair and stuff, long silver hair. What a bastard. Okay, let's get back
Yeah.
to it. So, Tamara's going to have this big party, and Shannon is at a place getting a breathalyzer installed in her car. And she's like, well, since my DUI, I purchased a new car. And only Shannon can really make a DUI sound like the most fabulous makeover anybody's ever had. I mean, Shannon got a DUI and came back on the show with a new body, a new face, new hair, and
Yeah.
a new car even. I mean, what are we doing? I've been getting too many drunken while walking non-tickets. I'm going to try driving and walking. I think it would help my aging trajectory.
It might. So we see flashbacks of her with Emily like about a week ago or something where she was Shannon has to get a new car because she totaled her other car by crashing it into a house. So we see her at like a dealership looking at cars, and Shannon's like pretending to like sit on a car hood and everything. And like, oh, well, this is a very natural pose for me. I wonder that if this looks sexy, God, it really does take a lot of hard work to be a slut like the ones that David walks around with.
So she's like, well, when you get a DUI, there are a couple of options. You can have your driver's license suspended for 6 months. Hold on. Let me purse my lips and move my eyes to the left and move them to the right. That's what I think about that. Or you can install a breathalyzer in your car, which is wackier. Let's see while I do the breaststroke on top of this car.
And she's like, well, because all my children are in school. Well, 2 of them are in school. One's off in Paris, just wasting all our money. And they can't really try to be around. And I tried with Archie, and that didn't go very well. And that's actually what happened that night, if I have to be honest. But I want to protect him. It's like Bonfire of the Vanities. And I want to have that ability to drive. And second of all, I think it's good for me to be reminded of my very, very stupid choice not to drive drunk, but to engage in a relationship with John Jansen.
I love being reminded of my stupid choices. That's why I'm currently scrolling through David's Facebook. God damn it. God damn it. So she tells us that she hasn't been in the driver's side of a car for 6 months. How does that work? What does that mean?
She hasn't
Didn't she just
driven.
get it? But she just got a DUI. That hasn't been 6 months.
You know, that's the thing. Like housewives timelines are so weird because they record certain like interviews, certain amount. Well, let's see. She got her DUI over the summer, right? Like like about a year ago, I think.
Let's look at
So
it.
then, if that was in August or September, and then now it's March or so, it could be 6 months.
November-ish? Wait. Yeah, November-ish, I think, of
Oh, well, in that case, it makes no
2023.
sense.
I don't yeah. Well, that's when she was sentenced. So I don't know when she actually got it, but that's when she was
Hmm.
sentenced.
Either ways.
July, yeah, I don't know, but that doesn't make sense. None of it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Well, no, like I said, Archie's been doing the bulk of the driving anyway, even before the incident. So he's
He's
like,
drunk
yeah, well,
on
you'll be
balls.
fine.
Well, it's fine to just walk around a neighborhood drunk on tennis balls. That seems to be fine. Archie doesn't have to breathe into anything, although he has no problem spittling all over everything. Could you get this off my Jackie O suit? Thank you.
Okay, so sir, can you tell me a little bit about how this works? And the guy's like, well, don't worry. First of all, it happens to a lot of people. You know, first you'll want to start, you have to do this before you start the vehicle, because if you start the vehicle, it's going to count as a violation. So you don't want any violations. Oh, okay. No violations. I have a question. Does it count if you have an affair with a woman that you walked along the beach with? Because that seems like a violation of marriage. I don't know where David Door's ticks are, but I don't know why I'm the one who gets the violations. I'm sorry, am I bleeding too much of my personal life into this moment?
So Christian's like, the way that you do this is you have to you can't just blow into it because that would be a violation. So you have to like meditate. Well, okay. So you have to hum like and then you blow. And she's like, oh, and it beeps. And he's like, okay, you just did it wrong. You're in prison. She's like, what did I do wrong? Jeez. He's like, you didn't hum while you blew. It's like, oh, jeez.
Oh, well, okay, no, I got okay,
I can audition for the gay
okay.
men's chorus.
Okay. No, you have to go lower. No, Shannon, just a little bit. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a little triggering. Okay. Here we go. Lower, a low hum.
How am I supposed to hum and breathe? And he's like, well, what you do is here's what I do. I take a really deep breath, and then when I'm about to release, I just focus on the particles I just took into my nose. Probably because you can't really take a deep breath anywhere, especially a new car. Do you know what they make these seats out of? I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Okay. There, that's perfect. Oh, okay. Well, that's funny because that's what Dr. Moon says. The noise I have to make before I have a cupping session. So this is perfect. It's like I'm being healed and I'm blowing into a little device at the same time.
So when you're driving, does it tell you pull over? Yeah, pull over now. Or does it just let you keep driving? I mean, when you're driving, does it say we're going to a pub for your birthday? Pub, birthday pub, or does it just let you? Just let you keep driving? He's like, no, it doesn't stop. Oh, but it does ask you for a retest. She's like, oh, it does, because yeah, every 5 to 20 minutes randomly. Jeez.
That's pretty intense. Just in case you decide to like down some beers in the car.
I think so. Yeah, I think people blow into it, and then they were probably like, "Okay, I can drive now," and then open their whiskey bottle or whatever, you know.
Right. Well, so I have to keep on blowing when I'm driving. Oh, my Alexis Bellino. What if I don't hum by mistake?
He's like, that's a violation. And she's like, oh my God, I'm violated. He's like, okay, well, we're not going to use that terminology. I've been violated. I got violated at breathalyzer school. He's like, okay, let's come back to the 5 and dime. So she's like, so I even have to blow while I'm driving? He's like, yeah, or it'll be a violation. And we get the uts. And then he's like, and after 3, then you have to come back, and then you have to pay a shop fee to reset
it. And then the Steve, the CEO, goes one hurdle after another. It's not really a hurdle if you just do it right. Well, I mean, the DUI has affected every aspect of my life, including my real for real business. Sales were starting to go down. We sort of had moved out of that cream cheese and salmon sort of space a little bit, and then with the DUI, I mean, it's at the same level. It just went down, and it's hypocritical for me to go onto television and say, "Oh, I'm healthy Shannon Bedore and buy my healthy products when I've got a DUI." So my whole life has really changed.
Yeah, I think the business was tanking, and this was just kind of an excuse. But also, all of this DUI rigmarole, like the breathalyzer industry. Do you think that the alcohol industry owns the breathalyzer industry? It's like you lose one customer because they're not allowed to drink anymore, so you still find a way to profit. Because this is a really creative way to profit. You have to have a breathalyzer in your car. If you don't hum 3 times when you blow, then you have to have the car towed and then reset at a shop, which costs a few $100s, I'm sure. I mean, it's actually very smart, you know?
It feels like I thought you just could blow into it and that would be good enough. The fact that you have to do it in a certain way and you have to do it before you turn on the car, I bet
It's
that's
like
where you
being
get
in a
all the
relationship.
violations.
Like, can't I just blow it? It's like, no, this is how I like it. Or like the worst trend to ever happen in sex and relationships is the whole like, what do you like? Oh, I hate that. I feel like a waiter. Like, what do you like? And then they're like, here's what I like. I like blowjobs and I like them this way. And then I like slapping and spitting and peeing. I'm like, oh my God, this is disgusting. Like, I don't want to know all this. I'm way less disgusted when people just never tell me, just surprise me.
Yeah.
I don't know why we got to
Go
that.
on a
Sorry.
journey.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say that I feel like I would 100% turn on my car so many times before doing the breathalyzer. Like, I think it feels almost like it's just a money-making scheme, right? They make it really easy for you to have a false violation, and then you have to pay all this
Mhm.
money. So I would
Yeah.
just do the Ubers for 6 months.
Yeah. Well, it's another scam. I'm just kidding. That's not a scam. Okay, so then we go to Christian. He's like, oh, I don't know. He's like, don't ever disconnect because you'll also have another violation. And she's like, Jesus. So then we go to Jen and Katie doing yoga, and Katie's like, I really feel like both yoga and sex require a lot of flexibility. I'll hold for laughs. Okay.
Oh,
Hear him
it's
out
so
there.
funny. I'm here. Well, no, don't hold for laughs because I'm gonna do some laughing stuff right now. Because I think Katie might get down with her mat on a regular basis. See what I did there? I pawned yoga mat with her husband Matt. See, it's like sex, but I'm talking about also a product you'd get from Aloe. Do you understand what I'm doing here? It's so funny. Thank you so much for listening to my joke.
So, so Katie's like, yeah, when you have a husband that looks like Matt, you have sex twice a day. Really? Matt looks like a banking representative.
I know. Who are you having sex with twice a day? That's the question.
Yeah.
You might want to have sex twice a day, but maybe not with Matt.
Do you have a fetish for the wig party? Well, if you do, I've got a mountain for you to climb 2 times a day.
So we meet Katie's dog, whose name is Sparkles, which is funny to me because I don't know why it's funny that the dog is also pluralized. It's not just a sparkle; it's multiple sparkles.
Sparkles. And also it's people with like zero personality who name their dogs really like personality full things like Sparkles. She's like, hi, this is my dog. Wonderful times.
Here's my dog. Crazy party girl gets on bars. It's a hype name.
So they're like, how are you doing? And Katie's like, well, I'm just after Big Bear, I sent Heather a text. And she's, oh my God, you did? Did she ever respond? Oh my God, please tell me she at least responded. Thank you. Thank you so much for your text. I might not be around right now, but you know what? It was really, really worthwhile getting to hear from you.
No, and that was over a week ago. And she was complaining, oh, Katie didn't send me a text. Katie didn't send me a text. But guess what? I did. And now it's crickets. And then, oh, actually, I'm sorry. We have a flashback of Heather back in her spa day with the things under her eyes, telling Gina, so, I was wondering, where's the text? I mean, I'm sitting here and I am waiting for a text. Now I'm getting absolutely zero texts on this. Oh, I'm sorry. I pulled out my wealthy phone. Let me pull out my Cricket Wireless. That's what the number I give out to the poor people. Oh, tons of texts from Katie. Never mind, everyone.
Oh God, a few from the cleaning lady saying she's trying to scale the wall while I sent her the new coat. Oh God, I just thought she didn't show. I fired her. Poor thing. Show up in a bindle in a couple of days. I hope the new one isn't going to let her down gently.
Okay, let me go back to the Mark Cuban phone. So much better. So Katie is like, I actually can't believe that we're still discussing this. She wants me to like beg on my hands and knees and be like, Princess Heather, can you forgive me? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to kiss your ass, Heather. I'm not. Hold on, everyone. Gina.
I'll wait for the laughs. I'll just wait for those. Okay, and we're waiting. Okay, the ball is officially lost in the trees. Okay. So if she wants to talk, great. If she doesn't want to talk, great. It's not like it's necessary for me to talk. The wind is about 3 miles per hour coming from the east.
Then we hear, and Jen's like, Katie's like, what's that noise? Oh, that's just my kid. That's his Mustang. Your child has a Mustang? Yeah, no big deal. You know, we got it for him on his 11th birthday.
You know what's so funny with Shannon getting in so much trouble for driving under the influence? Dawson really never has. He's really, really talented. God, we're doing a great job with him.
Couldn't say no.
So they're like, so have the kids, and Jen's saying, well, you know how it is, ending a marriage, going through divorce, building a new life, squatting, getting kicked out of a home, having locks changed on you. It's been a lot. It's been crazy.
Yeah, that's a big learning curve that most of us learned many years ago. But yeah, curve. It's a curve. Yeah, it is. And what, by the way, you said your ex, you're kind of like, I don't dot dot dot. I don't really want to finish the sentence because I never really asked you about your ex. I just assumed there's a story there. So you mind telling me about it?
It's like, we don't talk. Now, this is interesting because a ton of stuff has been coming out about Katie. I don't know if you don't really keep up with that kind of stuff, but believe it or not, the gossip rags have been going crazy for Katie, which is interesting because Katie's not very, I mean, look, I like Katie. I think she's fine on the show, but she's pretty like, meh. She's like a,
Dry.
she's like a non-dessert crepe. You know, like when you have a non-dessert crepe, they don't have the
Like a
sugar and
savory.
stuff. They're just kind of plain, and I don't know, they need to be filled. And that's Katie. She's just kind of an empty carb. Like, she's good enough to be on your plate because she's still a carb, but it just needs more. Anyway, she hasn't been dressed yet. So anyway, she's uh a lot of news has been coming out of her. One is the golf ball business, the golf ball shots business, where she was trying to sell golf ball shots, and supposedly she stole the idea from a friend and he's suing her. And then there's all this bad stuff about her marriage, and this guy sounds like a real piece of work. They had a really volatile breakup, and then there's all this news, and it's just story after story. And then she got, the most recent one was Katie gets in trouble for road rage incidents. A road
She has
rage
rose
incident.
rage.
Sorry, I'm a little
Don't let
under
her
the
get
weather
near
today.
your gardens. Don't let her get near
I'm-
your English gardens because she has rose rage.
Rose rage. You've never seen that lady show any personality until she gets around a rose, and then she pulls out a baseball bat. But
She can't even watch The Bachelor.
Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, so I'm more loony than usual. So anyway, it's a road rage incident where she apparently followed a guy home and was threatening him, and then she called the police on him and claimed that he wouldn't let her drive away, and they basically like Karen'd this guy. She Karen'd out on this guy and accused him of holding her hostage, basically, and not letting her leave. So this guy was arrested and had to go to jail, and finally they dismissed the case because they realized that she was the aggressor. This is all allegedly, by the way, that she was the aggressor. So they let him go, and then we find out that it's cost him like $13,000 to defend himself and all this stuff. And so I was reading this article like, damn, this girl has done all this. She doesn't seem that interesting. The article was, or the case was from 2016. So I think someone is coming for Katie, and I don't want to accuse Heather too, bro, but it seems a little bit obsessive that somebody is like having someone dig through court records and put out every single Katie story they can find. Now, I don't know who would do that, but in my mind, they have gigantic button eyes, and they're a terrifying version of something that should be loving to a sweet, innocent girl who never did anything wrong named Coraline.
Well, but right now, Katie's big enemy is not Heather, it's Gina. Because Gina has fully now villainized Katie over some stupid bullshit. Gina has found an excuse to just hate Katie because Katie threatened Gina's position with Heather, even though Gina has done that to herself many times on her own. So maybe it's Gina who's at the bottom of all this.
Girl, Gina can't even remember how much a house costs that she's showing. You know what I mean? Like Gina's no mastermind. Okay. I think it's Heather. It's 100% because it doesn't matter who Katie doesn't like. It's who Heather doesn't like. And Heather hates Katie's ass. I think that she would totally do something that petty. That's
Well, she
kind of
definitely has
funny.
the resources, that's for sure.
That's for sure. So like the investigator's always got a camera around his neck just in case Heather wants to pretend she's hugging Terry at a theme park.
That's who was called. It wasn't the Paps. It was just the on-staff photographer. Why has no one even considered
It's always
that?
Alfredo. It's just always Alfredo. Alfredo is the Paps. Okay.
Yeah. We never called the paparazzi. We own the paparazzi. They're just there. They're obligated to follow us.
So Katie tells her story about her marriage. Basically, she was really young and she was dating this dude and got pregnant. And so what do? You get married. And she saw all these red flags that she should not be marrying this guy. And her brother-in-law, they were getting married in Hawaii, and her brother-in-law came up to her and was like, wow, good luck with that one. Fucking idiot. Marrying that loser for. And she's like, yeah, I saw these red flags, but then I asked my parents, and my parents were like, you're pregnant and you're gonna marry him. We flew all the way to Hawaii, so that was not a cheap ticket.
You have to commit yourself to this man because we're not getting a refund on our flight. So good luck for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So
So they're like, good Catholic girls get married. And so she's so she got married. And then she just kept having kids with the guy. And then they were fighting, and she was always leaving, and they were always fighting, and it just got uglier and uglier.
it sounds like even now as she tells the story that she is putting uh I think she is holding back intentionally, probably to protect her kids and to not have to dig back into it. It feels like it's so much worse than what she's saying, right? Like it feels like, wow, like I'm reading between the lines here, and the lines themselves are pretty bad, but you have to imagine that there's just some really bad stuff that happened in between those lines.
Yeah, and also the other option, obviously, is that this is the guy putting out all these stories. Like he's mad that she's got a show or whatever, and he's gonna like
Yeah.
try and get revenge. So yeah, he does not sound like a walk in the park. But either way, for what we know of now, this just sounds like a horrible, horrible
And he
situation.
threw out
And
all
then
her stuff, by the way. He threw out all her childhood scrapbooks, her yearbooks, anything she made as a kid. He like purged all of her belongings, which is absolutely that's like psycho behavior. I'm sorry, but like that is like a 90s thriller kind of thing. I have never even heard of that.
so then we find out that they kind of split the kids when they got a divorce, and she got one. She has her daughter, and then he got the other kids. I think he has two of the kids. And is that right? Am I getting that right? So she said it really was heartbreaking, and she's like, but sometimes that's just what happens in these situations. Okay. Can we just concentrate on my squiggly ponytail? I think it looks pretty cute.
I think that she has actually two of the kids, Callie and Gavin, but there's another kid who stayed in Georgia with
Oh,
him.
okay.
Either way, the point remains it's not a great situation. So now, as a result, Katie's daughter, Kaylee, is in the process of changing her last name to Janella because she wants to be Matt's daughter.
Yeah. So it's a nice scene, She's like, he's raised her. And so she wants to, she's always been traumatized by the word dad, but finally she started calling him dad. Then he was crying, and now she's going to change her name. And so it's all a really good story. And then Jen's like, oh my God, just to hear that Katie went through something so similar with her kids. I mean, she got married. She never really had to do anything. Then she had all these kids. And she adopted all these hamsters, and it turned into gerbils, then bunnies, then children, then giraffes. God, that was a funny one. When she tried to adopt that giraffe and ended up living with it for a long time. Then eventually the child. God, that was so nice. God, I love when she opened that gym outside, and then someone tried to pay her parking lot space. It's really funny. She got kicked out of that one though. She didn't leave though. She's still got a tent there if she needs.
It's like, Jen, you may have segued into your own story there.
I'm sorry to break into your monologue, but could you please leave my life out of yours. You're projecting a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, my kids don't have Mustangs, and they also know how to drive. So now we go over to Emily's house where she's getting spray tanned with someone who I just thought was Tamara, but it's just not Tamara. I think that's just the way Orange County goes. Like, if you're not Tamara, you just look like her. Because I was like, oh, it's an Emily and Tamara scene. Nope, that's just a spray tan technician. Totally.
If you're not Tamara in Orange County, if you're not Tamara, you will be one day.
Yes. It's the same theory as men merging into David Foster.
Yeah. It's how we all turn into David Foster, Tony Shalhoub, or Clint Eastwood. Or who is yours? Harry Dean Stanton.
Harry Dean Stanton. So if you're a white lady in Orange County, you will eventually just become Tamara.
It's like the evolution scale. Okay, so they're making wacky jokes, Emily and Shane. He's wearing a shirt that says, "Real men spray tan."
This is a free spray tan, obviously, because they made a deal. Like, if Shane wears this shirt, we'll give you this spray tan session for free. He's like, all right, sign me out.
Yeah. So she's opening up her robe and showing her black pasties, her little star pasties and pink undies. And he's like, okay, what is it, my birthday? Is someone painting this?
Well, Shane, so you look very healthy. Have you made a doctor's appointment? Because, I was concerned about, well, you had a heart attack the other day. This is Emily's storyline. Which is getting Shane an appointment with the doctor.
No, Emily's storylines are always so sad and lackluster. Your storyline is that you took sexy pictures again for the 10th year in a row, and that you lost weight taking Ozempic, which you're currently in the process of kind of lying about. And now Shane needs to lose 1 million pounds. You are so full of it, lady. But she's like, oh, have you gotten any medical attention? Maybe the one that needs to call the doctor is you. You're so horny. Maybe we can get you a free spay tan.
And this was, you were being mean and you hurt my heart. That's why I had a heart attack. And she's like, no, that's what it was. She was, no, I wasn't even home. How could I be mean to you if I wasn't even home? And she says, I don't think Shane takes his health seriously, but I can only ask so many times. Unfortunately, I haven't actually reached that limit of how many times I can ask. So good luck, America. You're in for another 8 weeks of me asking.
Come over here and sit down, you short little fucker. No, I don't think I'm a mean person. Would you say I'm a mean person? I'm like, well, you just called me a short fucker. Well, I was out of love. Come on, sit on my lap. Tell Santa what you want.
This is Emily who, like, last week or 2 weeks ago was bragging about the fact that she's always been mean and aggressive. That's just who she is. And now she's like, you're making me be mean. So
then now she's about to pull my favorite thing, because I still do this at my ripe old age of 28. Blame my parents for everything. Like, literally, if I'm late on my rent or my mortgage or my bills, I will be like, my mom was mean to me once. So, well, a lot. She was mean to me a lot. She's still mean to me. She's horrible. It's her fault. And that's what Emily does every season. Whenever she's called out on something, she's like, fuck you. I didn't do anything wrong. And then 2 episodes later, she's like, it's because my mom didn't give me lunch money.
It's always because of the freaking latchkey life. My mom wasn't home when I got back from school. So she goes, oh, I was in La Quinta at dinner one night, and just at Shannon's and me sitting there, and she was like, oh, by the way, I just want to tell you that Gina's been saying things about you. And we have the flashback of Shannon's like, well, she's just saying you're getting meaner since getting closer to Tamara. Oh, and then I asked, because I was like trying to nail down a timeline, I was like, did she say it after I yelled at Jen? Because Emily doesn't want to admit that she's gotten meaner under Tamara's influence. But she will admit that it's her mom's influence. She's like, yeah, I'll throw my mom under the bus as much as I want, but Tamara is protected.
Yeah.
Do not come after Tamara.
Yeah. So she's like, well, I did say it after I yelled at Jen. And he's like, yeah, that's not okay. And she goes, yeah, well, it wasn't okay. I guess I need to apologize. It's just like, here's what I came up with. Her personality, she has this lack of accountability. And it just reminds me of my own mom and how I feel about that. Because that personality type. And he's like, let me guess. It triggers you. It triggers me, Shane. He's like, oh, Jesus. All right.
We made it pretty far into the season without her bringing up her mom, which was impressive. Also, when she said that she feels like Jen has a lack of accountability, did she mean like accountability or accounting? Because, it could go either way. So Shane is basically like, okay, well, tell everyone about your mom again. Well, it's just that my mom didn't finish college and she blames it on other people. And I just don't want to be like that. But anyway, my issues are because of my mom. So Shane is like, but that's always going to be the case. It's never going to change. It just was hard as a kid. I always had to get myself up, always had to get myself to school. I never had lunch money. I never had lunch. I never even had clothing. I just show up naked in the school. And I'm the person I am today because I went through it. I was never called or given anything.
Babe, you're living off of your in-laws and you don't work. What are you talking about? You don't have a job? What the fuck are you talking about? She has housewives, but she's acting like she's out there like vicking up the life. I mean, look, I think she just needs to take some responsibility here and just stop blaming everything else. You were too old to be blaming your mother. And by the way, my mother's not mean to me these days. We get along fine. I felt guilty. I'm feeling guilty about it. I'm like, well, that wasn't very nice. I actually am close with my mom. But yeah, I think it's like we're old enough that it's the time where you're just saying, I was a real dick to that person, and that wasn't cool. And also, you might be kind of a dick because she's doing everything that your mom didn't do for you with her kids. She's raising her kids. She cares a lot about her kids. Also, we heard last week about how she's making, if her kids want 5 different things for breakfast, she'll make them all each one of them their own meal. Like she's a short order cook, and you can say whatever you want about her, but she takes care of her damn kids. And I think that maybe and I'm not even saying this being bitchy, like, well, maybe you just like her. I'm just saying like, maybe there's something more that you resent there because she's actually what you wish that your mom was. And you're having to deal with someone like that every day and your brain doesn't know how to compute,
Right.
I don't know.
No, I think it's all of the above. I think there probably is something like, there may be, and I don't mean this in the petty way, there may be some sort of like psychological jealousy based on what you just said. I think there is probably a thing of like, I had to work so hard and you get to just traipse through life, not really knowing what your plan is until someone saves you. And I didn't get that thing. And that can also build resentment. It's all swirled together with issues with her mom. And by the way, I'm not saying that her issues with her mom are just like frivolous and should be written off. But I'm just like, you're too old to still be talking about this. Like, go to therapy.
Yeah, it's like multiple seasons. Like you've played that card. You've played the mean mom
it's like
card.
it's time
over.
for therapy.
And also, we're coming up with all these things. And I think everything that we're saying could be true, like on a psychological level. Maybe there's this thing that she sees that she resents, or maybe there's that thing. And maybe it really does go deep. But at the end of the day, my instincts are telling me that she's just being an asshole to be popular with the asshole. And I think that's the correct call. She's just being mean to this girl because she sees her as fresh meat. And as long as they're ripping this girl apart, they're not ripping her apart. And so she's just going to jump in and rip her limb from limb for nothing. Because everybody knows that what she's been like with Jen is not okay. She's been a total asshole to her. So everybody knows that. Yeah, blame something else.
Well, my favorite line in all this was Emily choking up. She's like crying to us in her interview. And she goes, yes, I'm aggressive or mean, but I had to be. I thought that was so funny. It was like, like, yes, I'm a terrible person right now, but I'm the true victim here. I had to be this way. I don't know why that just struck me as so funny. Like trying to squeeze out empathy from the audience for her being aggressive and mean to someone else.
Yeah. And that's the typical thing, right? The villainous thing to do when you get caught is like, here's why I'm the bigger victim in this story, right? So then Shane's like, break the cycle, right? She's like, yeah, I need to break the cycle. He's like, no, I'm saying, please don't break another cycle. I mean, you really can't keep getting on the Peloton with roller skates. It's not built for that.
Actually, I kind of would like you to break the cycle so that way you stop nagging me about getting on the bike. Well, anyway, I guess I should hug you now. Okay, here we go. Here's your hug. So now we go to Tamara's, and Tamara's with Sophia. And she's like, Sophia, yeah. Do you want to do something? Sure. You want to drive? No. Okay, let's drive. Okay, what makes you nervous about it, Sophia?
Well, I'm worried that I'm going to get in a car with you and all you're going to do is talk about dad and try to get me in deep shit with dad on TV. I would never do that. Get behind the car. You're doing so good. Put on your turn signal. You're just like your father. Speaking of your father, if you talk to your father, wish your father was here. Your father's not showing you how to drive, is he?
She's like, Mom, you go fast and accidents happen. People die. And they just laugh. Then Tamara's
Yeah.
like, well, why do you have to be such a pain in my ass? It's really, I guess this is the theme throughout the episode of people who want to drive, people who don't want to drive, people who have drive, people with no drive. Well done, Bravo.
Yeah. She's like, hold on. This car only rides for a bit. A real hardcore bit, Sophia. Hold on. Give me that breathalyzer. Bitch. See? Turns on. I love
So
that Tamara is always trying to just go against her children's wishes. It cracks me up. I mean, that's just like the funniest running storyline that Tamara's in trouble with her kids for constantly mentioning stuff that they don't want and trying to bring stuff on camera when they've asked her multiple times. This one asks her multiple times on camera, please don't talk about dad. And she just keeps trying to make every scene about dad. And then she does it again in this scene. And Sophia's like, I'm not talking about dad. She's like, well, all right. Well, you know what dad is? It's an animalgram. That's when something's spelled the same backwards as it is forwards.
So they're gonna go driving, etc. And Sophia has applied to go to Saddleback School for graphic design, and she was gonna go to music school, but now she just doesn't want. She's not sure if she wants to, and she feels a lot of pressure to just try to do something, etc. with her life.
Yeah. So then we go to Katie, and she's talking with her daughter, and they're doing the paperwork to change her name. And she's like, wait a minute, you're changing your name and leaving the Mormon church? She's like, I'm sorry, some lady just dropped these papers. I'm sorry, did I get the wrong address? I was just dropping off paperwork. No, Terry.
So, Kaylee, now that strange lady with the blonde bob has left, what are you changing your name to? Kaylee Michelle Janella. Oh, so you're not changing the middle name? I never really liked that. No, I like it, so I'm gonna keep Michelle because it's cute. But anyway, there's the question, like the reasons, because like I don't know, like I was abandoned by my old family and now I'm adopted. Kind of, it's like, does the government accept that?
And she goes, oh, so you're basically disassociating from your biological father. This is a great conversation. I love this. This is
And
great.
Katie tells us that basically, like after the separation, Kaylee was 9, and then a few years later, Katie's mom was diagnosed with cancer, and Katie felt like her ex was not letting her son see her mother while she was, I guess, I don't know if she was dying or not, but like wouldn't let him see the mother. So Kaylee sent a text to her dad saying basically, quote unquote, telling him how selfish she is, and now there's no contact. So I'm sure the text was a little bit more colorful than that, and their relationship is now over.
Yeah, this is so sad. This is really
Very
sad.
sad.
And we don't get into a ton of divorce stories on these shows. They mention them, but then they just kind of FF through them, you know. They're like, we're divorced. It was sad. It was crazy. It was hard. Next. But they're really going through it on this one, and it is really, really sad. I felt yesterday, I went to get ice cream yesterday because, you know, that's my new heroin. And I just go to ice cream shop to ice cream shop. Yesterday was McConnell's with my friend Brian.
Oh,
And that's some damn good ice cream, by the way. Thanks, guys. I'm about to launch into a divorce story. But there was this kid in the ice cream shop, and she was miserable. And the mom was like, just get your ice cream. Saying, no. She's like, eat your ice cream. Saying, no. Like, I was like, first of all, I was like, get rid of this little girl. I would just take her outside and put her in the street and wait for somebody to come pick her up. Because what kind of child doesn't like ice cream? Like, she's broken. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Something. Take her back to the store. But anyway, this kid was crying. So then they were leaving around the same time as us. And I guess it was a custody drop-off day where the mom they were going to meet at this ice cream shop, and then the dad gets the kid. So the kid was really mean to the mom. And then the dad came and she's like, Daddy! And then ran to the dad and jumped in his arms. I was like pulling his cheeks, and he's like throwing her up in the air. And I was like, wow, that mom really got the short end of this stick. And the mom was the one who came to the McConnells. I was like, the dad didn't bring you to the McConnells, the mom did. And one day you're going to remember the smell of those waffle cones, and you're going to realize how mean you were to the only person who tried to give you what true love really is that day, a waffle cone. You just spit in her face. So I'm glad you have a nice life.
Wow, that's like an inverse of the old classic Bill Cosby joke. Dare I enter Bill Cosby into the conversation? But that was like the old joke was that like, you know, I'm not even, I'm not going to recite an old
Well,
Bill
too
Cosby
late.
joke.
Now we need
Not
to know
because
what it
no,
is.
not because not because Bill Cosby's problematic, just because like I'm gonna mess it up, and it's like we don't like. We can move forward. We can move forward. We can move forward. No one needs to hear Ben's version of a Bill Cosby joke he sort of heard one time that sort of stuck with him a little bit.
You're
Okay.
funny. But anyway, divorce is hard, as I witnessed last night. Guys, I'm basically part of this story, is what I'm saying. So then they signed the papers. So then we cut back. It's like daughter and mom scene cut back and forth. So we go back to Tamara and Sophia. And Tamara's like, how fast are you going? She goes, a 65? Is that not the speed limit? I'm not an idiot, mother.
Actually, you're very smart, and I don't know I don't know how that happened. You got your looks from me and your brains from your dad.
And Sophia's like, maybe can we not talk about dad on camera? And she goes,
Yeah, well, Sophia doesn't have a relationship with her dad right now, and it was always very difficult to go get her to see her dad. I'd be like, "Go see your dad, Eddie and I want to fuck. Get out of the house so we can fuck a little bit, Sophia."
Yeah, she's like, you know what you look like? Your dad. Mom, stop talking about dad.
Okay. My heart really breaks for Simon because he has 2 children that don't speak to him, and I have one that doesn't speak to me. And so I take it on every housewife.
What if Tamara did that?
Simon was so mean to me, and that's why I call Shannon a drunk.
So then we go back to Katie. She's like, by the way, I want to talk to you about Tamara's daughter. Kayla's like, okay. She's the same age as you, and she has the same anxiety about her biological father, and she doesn't have a ton of girlfriends in the area, and neither do you. So she goes, yeah, neither do I. Yeah, well, we're pretty new, so we want you girls to meet because you have a lot in common, and we're kind of sick of you guys skulking around our kitchens. We just want some free time.
Listen, honey, you don't know anybody. She doesn't know anybody. You're both kind of nerds. So what I would suggest is good old-fashioned trauma bonding. Super fun.
You know, there is an amusement park in Newport Beach that they went to last season. Maybe you guys can go there for the whole day and get out of our hair for a little bit. Thanks.
So then let's see. So then everybody's getting dressed. So now we just jump to this party. It seemed like kind of a quick jump. We weren't really eased into this, but here we go. It's time for the Scottish party, the Traitors party.
Yeah, it was like this weird hodgepodge. It's sort of a weird episode. I felt like they were sort of like they had some footage enough to sort of cobble together this episode with this random party. We're like, here, let's sort of wedge this in here before we segue into the second half of the season, which looks like it's going to be about 45 times more bonkers in the first half. And the first half was actually fairly bonkers on its own. So, like, let's do this party. So we now go into everyone's getting dressed for Traitors party. Tamara wants to have a Tamara party. She wants to have a Traitors party because she only lasted, spoiler alert, a few episodes on that show.
Yeah, so she's gonna have her Traitors party, and so we see everybody getting ready, and it's funny just watching this people in this town try to do anything because they're all such dummies. Emily's like, I don't know how to dress Scottish. What does that even mean? Just like, I really don't know what Scottish means, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And Ryan's like, the bagpipe guys wear this shit.
Maybe this is why I woke up thinking about Brigadoon this morning. We had this whole scene right here about Scottish things.
Yeah.
So, so then Jen is saying that she thinks what she's wearing is too Christmassy, and he's like, "Yeah, well, so everyone in Scotland celebrates Christmas all year round." She goes, "Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it works over there."
So then Gina is with her kids and he's like trying on her crazy boots. And she's like,
Oh my God, like there's no way. Oh my God, did your foot really fit in there? Dang, boy.
I can't believe your foot fits into our house now. So Shannon, meanwhile,
Gina came out with this post. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Gina came out with this post the other day on Instagram. She came out with it. She dropped a post, guys. It was this post, and it was like, someone talk me out of doing beans. Talk me out of doing beans. And then Heather commented under it. She's like, don't do it. Just say no, please. And then she did it. I saw a picture later of her with the bangs. My God, you asked people, they told you not to, and then you still came with the bangs? Did I read it wrong? She didn't?
No, it was a gag. She put up
it was a bangs gag.
She put up fake bangs, and then
come on, what do these kids come up with next?
She didn't get the bangs.
Wow,
the bangs were not terrible, but I'm glad she did not have.
I didn't think they were terrible either.
They were surprisingly not terrible.
Yeah.
Which
It wasn't about to be a bangs rant. It was just about to be a why don't you ever listen to advice rant?
yes, yes. So now we see Shannon and Vicky on the way to this party, and Shannon's like,
Well, so I met Tamara the other night and it didn't go well. And I said, I feel like I've been climbing out of a hole and you just want to push me right back into it.
and Vicky's just ignoring her. She's just on her phone doing insurance deals.
Yeah, and she's like, voice it. Okay, well, if you can send me a quote, and also if you can recall why he was rated standard, I can address that. No, I will not buy you more teeth. What happened to the other ones? They were made of porcelain. God damn it! Let me see. Siri literally got none of this right. She said, Harry and the Hendersons, please be kind, rewind. How does this even make any goddamn sense? Who do I call?
Okay, well, you just tell me when you're done and then I'll tell you about how I walked directly into a palm frond at a restaurant and then had to talk to Tamara.
Insurance, get a job, insurance, do you even work? Send.
Sorry,
Send.
I live in fear of violations now, so I just do a deep hum in any given moment.
Siri, why is Alexa such a bitch? Siri, tell me that. Why is Alexa such a stupid bitch without a job? You don't work. Hey Alexa, put Siri on the phone. You do not work. You do not work.
Are you ready to hear me now? No. Okay, that's fine.
Vicky, by the way, the big thing with Vicky this week is that she almost died from an infection, right? That was the story. She was like entering sepsis. And then the infection was like, whoa, just realize we're trying to take over Vicky's body. We got bigger fish to fry. Get out, everyone.
And finally, the West Nile left California.
No, but she apparently almost really died. Apparently it was very scary. Did you read it? Did you hear about that at all?
I mean, I saw it in headlines. I was like, I don't know. I feel like Vicky always has infections. Is that weird?
She does.
I'm just not like the least surprising headline I ever saw was Vicky had an infection. I was like, well, she probably then immediately got into a hot tub. You know what I mean? That's where my mind went.
You know, bacteria, get a job. Get a job. Why are you in my body? Get a job.
My mind went to Vicky has an infection, so she immediately went to the food court and started licking people's face. You know.
So anyway, now we arrive at Tamara's Traitors party. It's like rainy. I wish they would shoot this show in the summer. I feel like they've been shooting Orange County in the winter and it always looks kind of cold and kind of rainy. And I feel like Orange County should be a sunny, bright show. So it bothers me that we're in this rainy setting, although it is appropriate for the Traitors since it took place in Scotland, home of Brigadoon. So everyone shows up at this mansion. It looks like it's a mansion for like The Bachelor or something. It looks like they're about to like vie for someone's love.
Literally every house over there looks like a mansion from The Bachelor. They're all like that Spanish terracotta, and they've got cracks running up the walls, you know, and Chris Harrison coming out with just some crusty underwear, like, wouldn't sleep in here at all, guys. Let's get this done. Okay. So the Bachelorette today, Janice, Michelle, right? Michelle. Okay.
So this is where Tamara talks about how her time on the Traitors was too short, so she just wants to have a Traitors experience with all the girls and relive it a little bit. And they're all showing up in sort of Scottish outfits. Like Heather has this kind of strange, is it like a pussy bow or something? She's wearing like all black, but she has this like jewel encrusted bow on her chest. It looks like it's a Christmas decoration, truly. And she's like, look at me, I'm Scottish. I am Method. Top of the morning to you, Brigadoon.
Yeah, look at me. I'm so Scottish. I actually had my jacket made out of the skin from different valets named Scott.
I'm so Scottish that I hired Scrooge McDuck as my butler. He's a famous Scot, is he not? And wealthy.
So then Vicky shows up and Gina's like, Vicky just looks like she's going to a business meeting. Okay, when you're getting fashion shamed by Gina, you've really stumbled. Okay, you stumbled hard. So then they're making fun of Vicky and stuff. And then Tamara's like,
you know, this show has one of the most fabulous hosts of all time. One of the biggest personalities, sparkles, feathers, dripping with charisma. And so we're going to have that host represented today by...
Dun, 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 dun. Hi, I'm Teddy.
The Teddy Mellencamp twist. Everyone's like, huh? Okay, sure.
It's like going to a Coke machine before they put the syrup in it. The fuck are you trying to serve me? This isn't Alan Cumming. This is nowhere close to Alan Cumming.
That happened to me very recently at a McDonald's on the way to Vegas. I was like, what is going on with this Teddy Mellencamp soda machine right now? I kept on going for the Diet Coke. It was just clear water coming out. I was like, who put Teddy Mellencamp in this?
The fuck is Teddy Mellencamp doing here? Get the hell out of here. So you're publicizing both your podcast and the Traitors. Traitors is over. Their podcast does really well, though. So good for you for that one. But still, get out of here. So for Pure Teddy and Pure Tamara, good for you guys. You know, it's great to see you kicking ass. For Show Teddy and Show Tamara, you guys are fuckers. Okay?
Pure Teddy and Show Teddy.
What I call them?
Did you say pure, like for Pure Teddy and Pure Tamara?
No, like real life. Oh, peer, like our peers.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
So, like, as our peers. Good for you guys. You're doing a great job. Love your clips on the TikTok. Okay, but for show versions of you, fuck you guys. You know, you're bringing fucking Teddy on here. Are you not a villain enough that you're going to bring Teddy on now?
Well, we're in the late stage Teddy era, whereas when Teddy first showed up on Beverly Hills, she was like doe-eyed, didn't really know what she was getting into. She was, you know, Lisa Vanderpump gathered her up, made her like her little sidekick, and she was just like thrust into this world. She was like, I just wear like shirts from the Gap. And but then she went, and then Kyle got her hands on her, and then Teddy became the Teddy that we know and make fun of. And then, but post Housewives, she's really just sort of leaned into, you know what? Fuck it, I'll just be an asshole. And she just is like, whatever. I'm just gonna like go after Vicky at BravoCon. I'm just gonna have an attitude doing the Traitors thing on Orange County. I can't tell where I stand on it. I don't know if I'm like, I like when, you know, I don't know if I like when assholes just lean into being an asshole, or am I more like, Teddy, stop it. I can't. Jury's out for me.
Well, my jury was out years ago after the Vanderpump thing, and it just never came back, and there's no retrial. Unfortunately,
jury.
So yeah, the jury's over. When it got to that part where she admitted at the reunion that Vanderpump never asked her to put out that Lucy apple juice information, I was like, this is over for me. There will be no retrial here. You've been caught red-handed. So every time I see Teddy now, I'm just like, hi, I'm Teddy. You liar. You know, I have a Housewives memory, girl. You can't.
You're like Mary Lou Henner. You're like Mary Lou Henner with her photographic memory. As long as I'm talking about Taxi.
You know, actually, that is the only box of Wheaties that I do remember is her being like, yes, like she's throwing her arms in the air, and I was like, God, look at that little thing getting her own Wheaties box.
Well, that was Mary Lou Retton, but I do love the idea of Mary Lou Henner getting a Wheaties box too.
Oh, Mary Lou Henner from Taxi. Oh, no, Mary Lou Henner I know because Taxi, I saw her in Chicago and Las Vegas, and she tried to get everybody to stop eating dairy, and I hated her as a child because I was like, you better stop trying to take away my dairy, you fucking monster. Because my mom was like, I saw Mary Lou Henner on Oprah. Dairy will kill you. No more dairy for you. And I was like, I will never forget this, Mary Lou Henner. I will never forget this.
Me neither. I have a photographic memory. So she does. So but what was funny about this whole thing was that as Teddy approaches the cast, we see her feet and we see her leg, and she's wearing riding pants because she loves horses. Don't forget, she's a horse girl. But then we go to commercial. It's like a cliffhanger. Like, who could this be? Even though it was like on the trailers and everything. And I just love that the arrival of Teddy Mellencamp actually like induces a commercial break. I'm like, really? This is our cliffhanger that like Teddy Mellencamp's coming out?
Yeah.
Pearson, but like,
I like Teddy. That it was this big surprise. Then all the housewives were like, oh, it's Teddy.
Hi, I'm Teddy.
They were like, oh, it's fucking Teddy.
I'm Teddy.
Like, she does look good though, you know, because that's what everyone says on these shows.
She's always looked good.
Everybody says on these shows. It's like, gosh, she sucks, but she really looks pretty.
She does look good. I met her that one time, and she was like knockout.
Yeah, she's.
Hi, I'm Teddy.
Yeah,
so Heather goes.
Go ahead. Nothing. Go ahead.
So Heather goes, it's Teddy. She was like, she's so serious. Did she ride a horse here? And again, the theme of how do people drive to different places in Orange County rears its head again in this scene.
And Emily's like, "This is my podcast partner because I was on that podcast one time." I think she does the show because Tamara's not allowed to do it or something when they're talking about Orange County. So Tamara's like choking on myself.
She's like, I figured that Teddy would be the best host, just like Alan Cumming.
Please, it's like you put Alan Cumming. Have you ever seen those movies where terrorists kidnap somebody and then it's like, oh my God, look at that news reporter, so full of life. And then he gets rescued from the terrorists like 6 months later and he's just a shell of a human being. That's what it's like. Alan Cumming has been taken by terrorists and then released 6 months later, but looking really good in a cute skirt.
Hello, Alan Cumming. It's your agent, Mary Lou Henner. We have 2 opportunities for you in pop culture this week. You can either be on HBO talking about a monkey, or you could be doing a low-rent version of Traitors in Orange County. Which do you choose? The monkey. I choose the monkey.
Okay, so then Tamara's like, she won't disappoint, which she knows that's a lie. Okay, so then Teddy's like, welcome, housewives, and Vicky. And everyone's like, LOL, because that was so rude. And Vicky's just like doing that invisible lip opening and closing thing that the women on the show do.
She's a fucking bitch. Just,
what a fucking bitch.
Hi, I'm your toast. Hi, I'm Teddy Mellencamp. Welcome to the thrilling game of Traitors. Let the game begin. You're going to come up and you're going to fill out a questionnaire, just like on TV. And at the end, you'll pay. Come join me on Questionnaire Traitors.
It's like, guys, did anyone actually watch the show?
Yeah, what's going on with this?
So Gina's like, I got no idea what Teddy just said, but we're gonna fill out point and it winning. Okay, Gina, you don't need to play up that accent more and more every episode. I can't even understand. You sound like you're underwater at this point.
I just feel bad. So Tamara's like,
sounds like, did you ever play that game like with your siblings when you would go underwater in the pool and then see if you could understand what each other was saying? Every time you get down, it would be like that. I was saying, "Fuck you, mom hates you. She loves me. She loves me more than you." Could you understand it?
I'm human. So Tamara, Gina feels bad underwater. She's a very feeling mermaid. So she's been banished. They're like, Ursula, please take away her voice. Ken the man. Ken is the land mermaid. Oh, I'm trying to do my cabaret, and this one's always talking about how she feels bad. Ursula.
Oh, we've done the Countess as a mermaid once. I think it's on TikTok. Okay, so Gina's Tamara's like, the host picks it. Oh, Tamara explains the game. I'm not going to go into the rules of the game because it makes no sense. So Shannon's like, wow, well, Vicky, how do you feel about this? Because the last interaction you had with Teddy, and she's like, I have zero to do with her. She's so disrespectful to me. So disrespectful. And then we see a flashback to BravoCon where they're playing Who's the Beef?
And Teddy is like, so Vicky, where were you on January 6th? I forgot about that.
And Vicky's like, how dare you ask me where I was on January 6th? I'll tell you where I was. I was working a job. That's what I was doing. I was owning an insurance company. That's what I'm doing.
And I was seeing what the insurance damages were in Nancy Pelosi's office. So she's like, Tamara and Teddy are 2 peas in a and I don't know what the fuck their stupid podcast is about, but Teddy can kiss my ass. So Heather's in the corner with her questionnaire. She goes, excuse me, is there a large font for old traitors? Okay, thank you so much.
That's Heather's new storyline. She's like, I have fuzzy vision. Am I relatable? Does anyone want to buy my paparazzi pictures now?
That's the only reason why I passed on Taylor Armstrong's script. The font was too small. Now you all understand.
So Tamara's like, who's the best liar? She goes, oh, this is a mean game. We have to answer questions. That was a mean question. I see where this is going. I see where it's going. So they have to answer all these kind of shady questions about each other. And they're split up into teams of 2 to do it. So Gina's like, well, the biggest liar is Katie because she's just lying a lot. She's just lying so much. No one's going to say Katie except you.
And she's not lying about anything. She literally, in
Yeah, she
fact,
don't lie.
she has gotten into this mess because she was upfront and honest about everything. You're the one who lied because you're the one who acted like Katie never said this stuff when you brought her around the group. And then once it came out, now
Boya,
you're thrown out
boya. She
Katie
lois.
to save your own ass with your friend when you should have just been a good friend in the first place.
She lois.
And so who's the most judgmental? And Jen's like, well, Emily's been judging me. I mean, that really hurt. I mean, I just judged her as being judgmental. Does that make me a hypocrite? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry,
Well,
guys. It's a
I'm gonna
hard
put me
game. It's
down.
been a
I'm
hard
gonna put
game
me
for
down.
me.
Yeah, I'm gonna put me down. And then Jen says, Emily has a lot to say about me always. She called me a squatter. You look like you have no money when we know you don't, or you have money when you know you don't. I owe everyone in town money, sell my Rolex, pay my bills. I mean, I could go on. It's hurtful, but I really like her a lot. I hope she's not mad at me.
I hope we can make up one day just so I can say, it's so good being friends with you. You're such a good person.
So now it's time for everyone to gather around the round table here, and Teddy's gonna walk around and tap like choose the murderer, etc. So she's like, "Okay, everyone, take a seat, and once we commence, everyone will put earplugs in and a mask in the face, and then I will walk around and I will select the traitor. And if you hear, 'Hi, I'm Teddy,' while I tap your shoulder, that means you've been picked."
Yeah, and Heather's like, what does the traitor even do? I'm not even sure what the concept is.
You have to kill people.
Well, normally I do that in very slow ways by negging them as they're trying to wash the windows 3 stories up a ladder, or, just sending the laundry back to be redone again and again while I stand in the back going, until someone just gets so old and frail that they die. Is that how we're playing? Because this could be a very long party.
Oh, I always thought the obligation of a traitor was to come in and ruin your Nobu party. Okay.
The traitor has been picked. We don't see who it is. And Heather's like, wait, did you notice that she tapped the cane 3 times over there, but 2 times everywhere else? Maybe I was the only one who can hear that because I'm basically blind now. So my hearing is very, very good.
So you think that Jen's the traitor? That would make sense, because she is a traitor, bitch.
Heather's like, well, I had my earplugs in, so I don't know if it was
Trading
Jen or
canned
Gina."
food for Diet Coke cans.
So now Heather asks Katie to chat. And meanwhile, Emily tells us, I'm happy to see that Heather has acknowledged that Katie exists and breathes the air. I feel like it's a step in the right direction. So Emily tells us that she's just happy they're moving forward. So Heather and Katie gather, and Heather's like, oh my God, my fake hair is all frizzing. Look at me, funny and relatable. So let's talk about you and your lying ass.
Well, anyways, I am having an event in Sonoma next week. It's a place that people go who enjoy wine. And we're going to go, and it's for an organization called Family Equality. Did you understand me? Do you understand English? Can you hear me? Would you like me to write that down?
So just take your private plane and meet us up there. You have a private plane, don't you, Katie?
She's like, and in the spirit of inclusivity, I would really like to invite you to join us.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You know what, America? I don't really have an interest in being friends with Katie. Let's be clear. There's no reconciling here. We never were friends. However, I would never go out of my way to make someone feel left out unless they were on my payroll.
Unless they're Taylor Armstrong, who I wouldn't let come back. Or Noella, who I also wouldn't let come back.
Or Reba McEntire, who's dead to me.
So Katie's like, wow, I would really love to join you. Thank you for the invitation. And I do want to apologize to you for whatever it is that you're mad about. She's like, you know what? I don't want to relitigate anything. So let's just move on. It's unimportant. There, I did that myself because I really can't count on those people. So let's move on. Okay, you're going to come to my party. You're very lucky. You're welcome.
And one last word, adjudicate. So Katie says, it's impossible to move on with Heather when she doesn't let me finish the sentence. I'm like, well, that's also because it takes you a long time to get to the end of your sentence. You're very, very slow talker.
I think it's time to give up the golf stuff and just use a normal voice, because it's very difficult to follow somebody who's like, well, let me tell you what I feel. I don't care. You're putting me to sleep. Okay. Feel something more exciting. like Sparkles. Follow your dog names. That's my suggestion.
Well, cheers to moving on. Very good. Now let's find out who this traitor bitch is, because I'm sure when it's revealed, whoever is the traitor is probably a very, very good actress and probably should work in the industry more, given how well she's deceiving everyone at this table. Don't we both agree on this?
Katie does a really funny imitation of her where she's like, well, yeah, Heather sucks. Like, get your fingers out of my face, because she keeps doing Heather. And Heather does do this where she just like puts her hand right in front of your face and dangles
Like
her
a car
fingers
wash.
and moves.
Car
so
wash.
funny.
Those like flaps that go in front of your car.
Yeah. So, okay. So they've decided that they're going to move on and everybody cheers at the table. And then Katie sits down next to Jen. She goes, I tried to apologize, but she like cut me off. Oh, she's like, oh my God, what is she? What is she? My ex-husband? We have so much in common. We're both getting cut off too. Oh my God, we're basically sisters.
So now Heather and Gina go off to have a chat, and Gina's like,
So I have a question. Who do you think is the traitor?
well, I think it's either you or Emily, and if it is you or Emily, you have done such an excellent job here that I wouldn't be surprised if P.T. Anderson calls you himself and casts you in his next feature film, which he should do to whoever is the traitor on this show right now.
Well, I'm not the traitor.
That's exactly what the traitor would say.
That is what the traitor would say, Gina. Yeah, but I'm not the traitor.
You're such a traitor. You know what we need to start trading? Your terrible clothes. I think I should come over again. Let's just get rid of all your clothes. I'll give you a lot of pleather, light pink motorcycle jackets. Maybe we could spill some pizza together, like old time's sake.
I was gonna make a spilling pizza joke too.
Sorry, it was unfair. I just threw all the
No, it was
standbys
great.
into one sentence.
It's just so funny, like that scene of Heather like spilling the pizza while she's walking in New York City, be like, "Look at me, I am of the people."
I am
So-
such a normal girl. Look at me,
I-
part of the 99%.
I didn't even bring my pizza catcher on this trip because I'm just so relatable.
So then let's see. So then outside, who else? They're ordering through.
So
I don't know. I'm reading through notes to try and not
so
read every
Tamara,
little thing.
Vicky, and Shannon are inside eating. Okay, so they have a little scene. They're gonna have a scene. A
So
lot of
now
things
it's
are going
Jen
back
and
and forth.
Emily. Now it's Jen and
Yeah.
Emily, right?
Sorry,
Well, let's
it
go
was-
to that one.
Yeah, Jen and Emily first.
I like that you pick up my confusion ball and then you just run with the confusion ball, and then all
Because I thought we were at the other Trace Amiga scene, and turns out
we'll just
we
keep
weren't.
going back and forth, being confused. And I love you for
what-
that. I really
it's what a
do,
good
Ben.
traitor
Thank you so
does.
much. Thank you for being such a good friend.
A good traitor causes confusion, and a great traitor should be cast in a new TV show on CBS. Just saying.
Okay, so Emily comes up to Jen and she's like, I just wanted to tell you that since I saw you, I've been doing soul searching, and unfortunately, I took myself back to being a little girl, and my soul was like, I'm hungry, and there was no one to make me breakfast.
I did a lot of soul searching in the shape of getting a spray tan on our front lawn, and something that my pasties told me was that wasn't right of me to yell at you. That wasn't nice.
And she's like, well, I guess I want to ask you because, we keep finding ourselves in the spot where you're saying that you're better than me and I'm lesser than. So am I lesser than you? I'm not saying you're lesser, only in actual monetary worth, Probably
No.
better because, I'm also a lawyer. So, I mean, kind of, but not in a mean way.
I grew up with nothing, and I would absolutely never judge someone based on what they have. And I think you're just in a space where you are now because you've had so many people take care of you. Unlike me, I would just stare at the ends of bread. Who wants to make sandwiches with bread ends over and over and over? I'd be like, Mom, get some new Wonder Bread. And you know what she'd come back with? Nothing. So yeah, I'm a bit traumatized.
I was a little girl and no one wanted to be friends with because every time I tried to open my own can of tuna, my hands were so little that I couldn't control it and the juice would spray all over my top. So I was a little girl who smelled like tuna juice. Do you know how hard that is? Not one person around me with big hands. Jen's like,
Oh my
God,
goodness,
thank
was
you
that like
so
tuna?
much for...
Was that
Go
tuna
ahead.
in oil or tuna in water? Because if it was oil, then that's like a real lasting stain. It was oil. It was oil.
So Emily's like, yeah, like it was really hard and you've been taken care of. She goes, oh yeah, my whole life. I've been taken care of my whole life. It's actually been really nice. And she's like, yeah, well now you're like, fuck, I have to take care of myself and I don't know how to do that. She goes, yeah, I mean, It's gross. It really is gross. Thank you for understanding. It is really like what? Pay a bill. Whose bill? Am I right? Thank you so much. Thank you for
You know
getting
what?
it.
I had nothing growing up, no support, nobody paid for anything, nobody stepped up, no safety. I had a lot of traumatizing things happen that I don't like to talk about, except when I'm on TV, and I talk about it all the time. So it made me who I am, which is hard. I'm driven, thematic tie-in, and I'm tough. And a lot of times it's very difficult for me to see outside of that. And so I apologize. And that's not on you. That's issues that I have with my past. And by the way, I do reserve the right to still yell at you for the rest of the season.
Oh my gosh, Emily, you are someone I really look up to, especially when you're standing over me while I'm sitting down, pointing your finger in my face, calling me a poor loser. You know, so it's just like so good to look up at you. And I mean, sometimes I think, God, she's perfect. I mean, she could cut her nose hairs. Let's be honest. But otherwise, I mean, you're just such a good person, Emily. Thank you so much for talking to me. If you ever want to exercise in a parking lot, call me.
I would like to be more like a woman like Emily. I just like being around women that I feel like you can grow from. And I feel that way with her. It's like, you know what? I think I'm going to take a boudoir photo now.
So then, my boudoir is being taken away by that U-Haul. Oh well, hey, we'll just do the boudoir in the parking lot. So then, Emily, they hug. Basically, they make up, and Emily's like, "I appreciate that Jen said that she admired me, but God, it made me feel like even more of an asshole."
So now we go over to Tamara, Shannon, and Vicky. And Tamara is like, by the way, did you figure out the car situation? Can you drive Sophia around? And Shannon's like, yes. I mean, well, I chose a breathalyzer. I chose one that looks like a side of salmon, and you just put some cream cheese in it, and then you blow onto it. It's so fun.
And then you just wait for those sales to roll in, and then a bunch of zeros start appearing, and your car stops, and someone comes to repossess it. God damn it!
And Tamara's like,
Why can't you just go into an Uber for 6 months?
and she's like,
Well, I have been doing that, but my dry cleaning has just been sitting there since December 31st. I would kind of like to pick it up.
I mean, if you think I'm going to put my dry cleaning in a stranger's car, you are sadly mistaken, Tamara. So Tamara's like, well, I'll help you. And Vicky's like, okay, everyone. Okay, so this is like the first time that we're really getting to talk. And I believe that we had a great show. Don't you guys remember the sombreros? So many great memories. And Tamara's like, yeah, we had an amazing show.
We basically walked away from a Tony-winning show, the Trace Amigas. I mean, it was amazing. Everyone said it. I've not heard from one person that you had a good show. I'm going to be honest. And we've heard from a lot of people who have been to your show. Not one single person said, that was really good.
Yeah. So Vicky's like, yeah, I mean, I thought we were all on the same page. And then, and we see headlines about how the Trace Amigas broke up. This like dog and pony show taking up so much space on this season is hilarious. I mean, they're really acting like they're Oasis. And by the way, Oasis is getting back together.
Yeah, I read that. Why is that causing such a kerfluffle?
Because they're always broken up. They're like the original Trace Amigas, except they're the Dos Hermanos.
So then we go to they're like, so what's Vicky's like, what's the problem? And she's like,
Well, Shannon and I had a problem because of her drinking. And like I liked one of Alexis's posts about her twin 16-year-old birthday.
and Shannon's like,
Oh, okay. And you know what that post said? It said friendships forming, but okay.
and then we see the post on the screen and it says hashtag friendships can form. Dun dun dun.
No, Shannon, I didn't even look at the hashtag. Okay, I don't even know what that means. Like, what does friendships can form even mean? That's 3 words I've never even heard of before in my life. Shannon goes, well, there were articles all that day of her publicist making a statement on behalf of she and John 4 days after they met. So I was super, super upset about it. Shannon, you don't need to do a breathalyzer into your straw. Yes, I do. It's a violation if I drink my Diet Coke before checking in.
Oh my God, my Diet Coke just drove off.
Excuse me, ladies, I have to bring my Diet Coke back to the mechanic shop and pay a violation fee.
Actually, she's not drinking a Diet Coke. When she got there, she's like,
Hello, can I have a very, very light tequila and soda? Thank you.
As in very light soda, heavy on the tequila. Thank you so much.
yeah, so I don't need to go too into this, but yeah, Tamara's obviously full of shit. It's like the day of. Alexis is announcing all of this stuff. Like, I'm fucking John Jansen. And Tamara's like,
Love you, friendships can form. She's like, what? I don't even know what hashtags are.
Yeah. You know what? I never thought for a million years that Alexis Bellino would be dating John Jansen. Well, and I don't want to have anything to do with Alexis Bellino. I want nothing whatsoever. Well, she's constantly saying, I don't want to hurt Shannon. And I mean, I'm sorry, bitch. But like, it's not my fault that John is dating Alexis. And I don't even care about that bitch. I'm like, sure, Tamara, sure. You don't care about it whatsoever. Meanwhile, she's advocating, saying that Alexis is saying that she doesn't want to hurt Shannon. That's all Alexis has been wanting to do all season long.
I know. She's so crazy. So then the girls are talking about it, and Gina's like,
Tamara told me that Alexis brought up the fact that there were videos.
and Heather's like, I heard about it. They might have shown me, but I didn't see. I don't see now. Does anybody know what reader's glasses are?
I hear you can buy them at the VCS. And Gina's like,
Like, are we supposed to tell Shannon about these videos?
I don't know. I honestly don't want to be involved.
But like, Tamara didn't kill her yet.
No. Kitty goes, these videos will ruin her life, which means that Gina's going to be the one to go,
I just feel bad because I heard stories that there's these videos, Shannon. I think you should know about them. And like, I thought I could like just get by without telling you, but I just feel bad that they're out there.
Yeah. Gina's really trying to perfect her. I'm going to bring these things on camera, but somehow not get in trouble for them. But she always gets in trouble for them. But in this case, she wouldn't be bringing it on camera because they've already been brought on camera. And that's like, I think the shittiest thing that they do on these shows where they're like, oh, we can't talk about it. But you are all talking about it.
yeah. They know
She
it's going to
just
come
doesn't
up.
know it.
on
It's
camera.
not fair. Yeah. They're like,
We need to save it for sweeps weeks, bitch.
do they still have that?
Sweeps
You know, I think
weeks.
they do still have Sweeps Week, but I don't think it has the same gravitas as it used to.
Mhm.
Just think about that for a moment.
The
So
gravitas.
Gina,
Guys, whatever happened to the gravitas sweeps week?
I have a gravitas driveway. I understand that Shannon is 100% responsible for whatever she did on those videos, but like, my God, that woman has children. And you know what? That if you release that, it will affect those kids. And that to me is inexcusable.
Oh my God. Her children are out of the house. Second of all, look, and I'm not saying they should release these videos. Like, I'm Team Shannon on this one, but I'm really getting sick of childless people getting thrown under the bus constantly. And maybe it's political because this JD Vance fuck just came out and did it, but leave us alone. You know who else doesn't want incriminating videos that are going to embarrass them and ruin their life out? Single people without children. Like,
yeah.
why is it okay to fuck us over? But when it comes to anything, it's like, you can't do that. They have children. Well, guess what? I have nothing. So
You
is
have
that a
Bueller.
reason to be nice to me?
I agree. I also am like, well, no, it's still not like you don't want to like. Obviously, with kids, you want to keep them as like quote unquote innocent as possible. But again, they're all I think 18 and older. They're actually like no longer minors. Doesn't mean that they're therefore entitled to being traumatized by shit like this. But if you really wanted to protect the kids, you probably wouldn't go on reality TV in the first place.
Well, but I think Gina's doing that thing to solidify her case of you did that to me when I had kids, because she's still
Yeah.
doing that this season. So she's just like adding evidence to her own case. Because we all know that Shannon's kids are like, whatever, Mom.
If they think if Gina thinks Shannon's kids have not seen Shannon's behavior on those videos 12 times over, then Gina's sorely mistaken.
I know.
As she often
If she thinks those kids haven't taken their own videos of their mother acting like
You better get that off the TikTok right now, Stella.
I mean, are we just gonna forget the time when Shannon was like wasted on FaceTime talking about like David Bajor that one time? You know, like this is nothing new.
yeah.
So Gina's like,
You know, it's just like a weird place because like part of me wanted to be like, oh, I want to tell Shannon that she should be aware of this, but at the same time, I don't want it to get worse. And I guess like this dilemma kind of like makes me feel, I don't know, what's the word for it? Bad.
So then we cut back to the Tres Amigas, and Shannon's just crying. She's like, I'm just trying to move on, and my life is hard enough without having Alexis thrown in my face. And Tamara's like,
Yeah, I'm gonna touch your hair now. I know, and I give you kudos to even be around Alexis. It must be so hard, which is
Oh.
why I got a recast on this show and bringing her everywhere I possibly can.
Well, thank you for giving me kudos. It's a delicious snack. I love a chocolate-covered granola bar. But either way, and to have him say that I owe him $75,000. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I'm bereft. And Tamara's like, well, where do you sit with that right now? Well, my attorney made an offer, and he said he won't take one penny less. Okay, Tamara? Well, can I give you some advice? I want you to clear his name.
And she's like, I will tell the truth. I'm a truth teller. So what has she been saying that they're saying is such a lie, that she paid for all the stuff for him, or what? Is she supposed to
I
come out
guess
and be
is it
like, I did not pay for everything for John Jansen. That was a lie. The London hotel just happened to pay for itself.
as far as I can tell, Shannon has been clearing his name since the moment he came onto the show. Like the story about him getting wasted at a golf tournament, and she's like, he doesn't even understand golf. He was actually on that day, he was in Singapore. He went to Singapore for the day, so he couldn't even be at the golf. I don't know what are you all talking
Yeah.
about? Just look at his calendar.
Well, that's true. The slander against John has all been Tamara. It's been Tamara slandering John, and then Shanna sticking up for John. And then now she's bringing on Alexis to go for Shannon. What a mess.
No
Okay,
one
so
cares about
then
John Jansen. He has no name that needs to be cleared because we wouldn't even be giving him a second thought if he weren't trying to stick his nose into the fame pot.
yeah. So then Tamara's like,
It's so difficult being stuck in the middle of it, you know? Calling Alexis, making friends with Alexis again so I can get in the middle, and then bringing Alexis back onto the show, getting her hired again, and talking to John, going out to dinner with him and stuff. God, it's just been so hard to be put somewhere you don't want to be.
It's so hard being in the middle when you don't even want to be in the middle. All you want to do is insert yourself in the middle, and then you want to get out of the middle so you can complain about being in the middle. It's hard. It's hard being me, bitch.
so Shanna's like, I'm not going to start lying right now. I've never lied, and I will not start now. Why are you doing that? I'm not lying. Could you please
I
take
do
away
not
that?
lie.
That intimates a lie, and I would like to prove that I'm not lying. Could we please remove that?
I'm not gonna lie. I never lie, and I never have lied. Just like I said that night when I decided to walk Archie in the middle of the road at midnight.
So she's crying, and Tamara's like stroking her hair. And she's like,
Okay, but don't you see where we are now? Because we were talking about the Traitors amigos, and now we transition to John and Alexis.
and she's like, and Vicky's like, I want to go back to Tres Amigas. Now, listen, there's no replacement for Tamara. There's no replacement for Vicky. There's no replacement for Shannon. And I would love the Tres Amigas. Hold on, I'm crying now. I'm crying now. Look at me, I'm crying. We only take people serious here if they're crying, right? So, look at me, I'm crying.
I want our Traitors amigos back. Give me Traitors amigos back.
By the way, this is how crafty Tamara is. When she says, I mean, look at this. We were supposed to be talking about Tres Amigas, and now we're talking about John and Alexis, implying like Shannon just has to move forward. But it was Tamara who brought up Alexis. Tamara was the one who said, like, yeah, Tres Amigas fell apart because, well, we've been having issues because Tres Amigas fell apart. It was because of the drinking. Oh, and also because I liked a photo of Alexis. Let's talk about Alexis a little bit. Like, Tamara.
Why are we
totally
talking about
sidetracked
Alexis?
Tamara's the one who brought it there, and now she's like, "See, this is what always happens. You know, we're always talking about John and Alexis. You know, we got to move forward."
So now Vicky is fake crying and going, you know, we love Tres Amigas. We need Tres Amigas back. We need it back. We need it back. We need it
Who's
back.
going to perform at the Catskills this summer? Someone's got to do it. Come on, bring the Tres Amigas back.
So then Tamara, instead of just saying no and starting another fight, is just like,
I could hug.
something they all have a group hug. And because like you just make me so bad sometimes, Tamara. You just make me so bad.
Listen, we're all very stubborn, hot-headed girls batch.
And she goes,
I get pulled in by these two all the time, and I'm always disappointment. But we don't have to talk about the past. We can just kind of slowly move forward, batch.
the producer's like, "Are you going to rejoin the show?" She goes,
No, thank you.
Just no amigas, bitch. Fuck those girls.
So they do the dance, the Three Amigos dance, and it's, you know, I cringed. So that was good. I mean, they've still got it. Like I say, I cringed pretty hard. So they've certainly not lost their talent for that.
it's the strangest little thing. Like they just got like that. They've got a little variety show that they tour small theaters in. It's broken after like five gigs, and they're trying to get it back together. And the only thing that's really significant about their bit is that they thrust their hips together.
They
Oh, God, I
reference
love
a
Bravo.
Martin Short, Steve Martin, Billy Crystal movie from the 80s or whatever.
Great movie, by the way. Great movie.
Yeah. So then now everyone's like, oh my God, look, they're reunited. Oh, that's so cute. And then they start accusing each other of being traitors and laughing and stuff like that. So then Teddy comes back out because everyone's having fun, you know, so that has to stop. because they've kept Teddy separate, which I think is kind of funny because normally it's like, look at our guest star, it's an old housewife, and then she comes back and they kind of talk to her at least, but not on
Yeah.
this show. This show, they're like, okay, everybody, here's an old housewife, and here's why they were fired. Now put them in the back, like Elizabeth Vargas. They're like, here's Elizabeth Vargas. You can't hang out with anybody. Get into the closet.
I know. So they release Teddy from her holding pen, and she comes back out. She's like, okay, hi, I'm Teddy. Separate into groups. There'll be a group of 2, 3, and 2. And Gina's like,
Oh my god, that's my cousin's schedule.
and
Chum's like, that's mine too, batch.
Okay, so now they play a question and answer game. Who's the most defensive? And Shannon votes Heather. And Jen's like, I'm sorry, but I think it's you. I think it's you, Shannon. Shannon's like, oh, well, not me. Oh, well, that's very, very nice of you. Thank you. And they all vote that it was Shannon.
Yeah, me being the most defensive, that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, do I get into arguments with people that sometimes leave me paralyzed? Perhaps, yes. But I'm not defensive. You're defensive. You're the defensive one here.
Yeah, well, people keep slinging bullets at me, and so I have to defend. Boom, boom, boom. Ow! I just got hit by ricochet. Who has their imaginary car standing in the way of my bullet? It hurt.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Sorry, I have to blow into the breathalyzer before I get defensive.
The next question is, who is the first to throw someone under the bus? And literally everybody answers camera. Who drinks the most? It's Shannon, obviously, just got a DUI. Who's the biggest traitor? And it's all Tamara. And Tamara's just loving it. She's like, yeah,
That's what it is. I'm just a truth teller. Yeah, truth teller. If you don't like the truth, not gonna like me. Not gonna like me.
So the first round, Jen and Shannon are immune from getting murdered. And so now the traitor, who, unlike the real traitors, we don't know who the traitor is. So it's like hidden, and the traitor kills Tamra. Although we found out later that the traitor actually meant to kill
Teddy just misread the
yeah.
point. She meant to kill Vicky.
Meant to kill Vicky. And then, by the way, like, you know what? If you're gonna do fake traitors, fine. But at least give us some more actual traitors roundtable where you guys are all accusing each other of being traitors. They just sort of like went from murder to murder to murder.
I know, that's the best part, is the accusations and the getting defensive and stuff.
And like, how do they skip that? Because that is how you actually would generate arguments with this entire cast. Because it started off like, well, I think it's Shannon because I don't like the way she's looking at me.
Well, do I have a twitchy eye? Yes. Is it brought on by stress? Yes. Is it brought on by John Jansen because of this lawsuit where you're accusing me of lying? Absolutely. And because of Tamara's friends with him, it is Tamara's fault, and Tamara's the traitor right now.
You gotta want that because you're a stupid fucking alcoholic, you dumb bitch. How dare you? She has children.
I feel bad. Don't talk about her like that because she's got children.
Well, you never felt bad for me because I've got children. Why are you like that? Why are you such a bad friend?
Why are you aggressive?
My mom. Yeah, we just wrote it for you guys. Come on, make an effort over there. Did you even watch Traitors? Come on. So then Teddy comes out. She's like, inside the box is someone who's going to get murdered. Everybody. Oh, sorry, that's Emily. She's like, inside the box is someone who's going to get murdered. Everybody put your hand in there.
So Katie's safe, and then Gina goes in to pull out a piece of paper because they all think there's nothing but paper in there, but it turns out there's cricket. So she pulls out a cricket instead of a piece of paper, which is hilarious because, like, she got her hand all the way in there, wrapped it around a cricket, and pulled it out. I was like, "Oh my god, it's a cricket!" Could you not tell that your piece of paper was squirming?
I know. I guess that there was just one knot with a cricket on it, but there's a lot of crickets in there. And I felt bad for the crickets. I was like, what? They're getting all squished and shit in there. What'd the crickets do? You know?
Wow, this is so exciting. A box full of cell phones for my staff. Oh, real crickets. Never mind.
Listen, people who make terrible jokes all the time, like me, need crickets. Don't take away our crickets.
I know. Also, how did they not hear the crickets? We could hear them on camera. We could literally hear the crickets on mic, and they're like, "Oh wow, isn't that so funny?" As Teddy walks closer with that box, you can hear more and more crickets. I wonder what's in there.
I think it's just the sound Teddy makes naturally. Everywhere Teddy goes, you just hear the sound of crickets.
Hey everyone, there's a bunch of crickets in Gina's house right now. Oh my god, I feel bad. They're in my box.
It is kind of funny that Teddy comes back to make her big splash on Housewives, and literally her prop is the sound of crickets. So there's a murder, and the murderer is like, I never would have killed Tamara first. She was my best decoy. The only way to cover my tracks is to create confusion.
So Shannon's like, well, then they try to, I guess Shannon's like talking about how she's immune. I guess Shannon gets killed. She goes, well, you can't kill me. I'm immune. I have diplomatic immunity. You can't kill me. Is this John Jansen's doing? John Jansen's the traitor. He's the real traitor. You cannot do this. I will fight this. I will fight this to the death. Of which I am not dead. Oh well, I guess I can stop fighting.
So let's just get through this game. Who is it? Who did it?
It's Heather.
Heather did it. Heather was the killer.
So it's basically a lot of fun and games. Although at one point they have to go out to the pool to push boats around, and Teddy pushes Tamara into the pool, which was actually very cruel. And everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Like you could see it did not land the way it was supposed to because it's cold out.
Teddy.
It's Teddy. It's cold
She can't
out,
pull
and
it
she's
off.
also Tamara's wearing like a nice outfit. You know, this is like an expensive outfit that's now fully ruined, and everyone's like, "Teddy," and Tamara comes out like. They wrap her up like ET in a towel.
So Katie's like, well, Heather's the traitor. What a shock. I mean, she's an amazing liar. Does she act? I have no idea. Maybe that was before my time.
You just got burned.
Tamara's like, I knew Heather was the traitor. I knew it. Traitors, you should give Heather a call because she's a good traitor.
I don't do reality TV. I'm sorry. I'm not video.
So Teddy's like, Heather, because nobody figured out that you were the traitor, you actually won. And Emily goes, add traitor to your IMDb.
I will. And by I will, I'll have Alfredo update the page. So that's like the end of this. It's just a silly episode. It was like I actually really enjoyed it because it was just sort of goofy. And then we saw the trailer for the rest of the season, which looks fantastic. It's a lot of Jen and Ryan stuff and their drama, a lot of more stuff with Alexis and Shannon. I feel like we are now moving away from the Gina stuff. I feel like first half was a lot of Gina issues. And it's like in the Olympics, the first week is swimming, the second week is track and field. We're done with our swimming. We're done with the Gina in the pool. And now we're going to move forward to new controversies.
All right. Well, sounds good to me. We will be here next time, and have a great holiday weekend, everybody who are listening during this holiday time. Okay. And if you want to check out our Secret Lives of Mormon Wives trailer trash, join up with our Patreon. Shall we do that? Okay.
Do it.
And also check out our Chimp Crazy recaps. We're recapping that show on Max. So that's out. We've got a lot of special stuff coming up, guys. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for being here. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye now.